What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. We're back with a good old-fashioned vlog once again. And I know it's been a lot of car reviews lately. We're gonna get right into the video here, but before we do that, I just filmed a video on my personal channel. All these windows have actually just been tinted by blackout tinting. It's the first time I'm tinting something besides car windows. This is different tint from car tint, and those are a lot darker than these. It gives me a lot more privacy, and it also keeps out some of the heat here in the summer. We're having a stupid hot summer in Pittsburgh, and I love it. I figured I'd mention it real quick. If you guys are interested in this type of stuff, subscribe to the personal channel and check out that video. But before we go up to the garage, I want to remind you guys that we have a summer sale on merch. I recently went down to Tennessee to see my fulfillment company, the company that holds all the merch, and I signed a bunch of stuff. So we're selling hats at massive prices off. Some of the hats start at just 10 bucks. We have half off on sunglasses as well from the original price, and all the sunglass cases are signed as well. So check out the link in the description if you guys want to pick up some signed merch at massive discounts. Let's start the video. So this was completely unplanned, but we have new wheels on the RS7, and it's pretty much undrivable. Look at how slammed this thing is. So like I said, this was unplanned, and I'm going to explain why we have these wheels on. About a week ago, I was driving the car to the gym, and I noticed this like flapping sound inside the car while I was on the highway. I was like, I couldn't figure out what it was, so I stopped thinking that, oh my god, is it something like knocking inside the engine or whatever, and it wasn't. And then what ended up happening was that the inside of the driver's side front tire was down to its threads. I've never had a tire that was more worn than that tire, and I didn't feel like that thing was worthy a whole video on the main channels. I covered it on the personal channel, so for those of you guys that don't follow the personal channel, you won't know about this, but for those of you who do, you already know what happened to the tire. So long story short, I call my buddy Chad at Wheel Connection. We get another tire ordered, and when I get there like a day or two later, we had ordered the wrong size. I think I told them the wrong dimensions on the tire or whatever. So what we ended up doing was putting these wheels on that Chad had laying around that a previous R7 customer for a newer generation R7 had left behind. And the thing is, the Pirelli P0s that an R7 comes with is the most expensive tire that I've ever owned. They're 450 bucks a piece. So when we were taking this stock wheel off to fix the tire and everything, we checked the passenger side as well. It wasn't as bad, but it was worn really bad on the inside of that tire as well, and it's probably because it's lowered and everything, and you know, has to do with toe and all that. So basically I would need a tire there as well. That would have been $900 for two tires. So since Chad is such an awesome dude, he gave me this set that are already sitting on tires for about the same price. So now we have 22-inch, I think they're called Ace alloy, and you might see a Giovanna cap in the middle there. They're not Giovanna wheels. It's just that my stock Audi caps didn't fit. We're gonna get regular Audi caps and put them on there. And another thing is these wheels are 22s. Stock wheels on an RS7 are 21s, and they're also 285 wide tires. Stock on an R7 is 275s, and we have 15 millimeter spacers up front and 18 in the back, which is why it's looking so, I mean, awesome. The car sits slammed. I mean, it looks so good, but the car is completely undrivable. It rubs all the time, which is why we're heading back to Wheel Connection. We're gonna put different spacers on there. It also doesn't have the proper hub rings on there. So when you're getting up to like 55 miles an hour, the whole car is like just shaking. Like, it's massively imbalanced. And this was something we did like spur of the moment, and then it was 4th of July weekend and all that stuff. So the car's just been sitting here. We ordered the parts, and we're heading over there now Monday morning to try to fix this. So we're gonna put different spacers on. We also need different lug bolts, and we're gonna put hub rings on there, and then hopefully the ride will be a lot better. So most of you guys probably know an R7 has air suspension, and the car is also lowered on links. The car's not even in dynamic mode, which slams the car the most. It's in individual mode, and like this, I can't drive it, but luckily you can race it because it has air suspension. But what I've noticed is, and we're going to demonstrate this when we're driving over to wheel connection, is when you're on the highway, I don't know if it's when you hit a certain speed or whatever, all of a sudden the car lowers itself. So it like started rubbing intensely while I was driving on the highway, and then you can't race it while you're driving, so you have to pull off the highway, come to a complete stop, and then race it, and then start driving. But even though when it is fully raced, it still rubs a little bit. So that's the issue that we're having. And yes, the wheels are not brand new. So on this driver's side, it is a little banged up at one spot there, but that's something that we can fix. But I love these wheels. It looks so good. So we're gonna race it with this button right here. It's going up. So even when it's sitting in a raised position like this, because of the spacers, it still rubs every now and then. And you know, I like lowered and slammed cars and so on, but you know, they can't be rubbing all the time. That's not gonna work. So now we can get a little better look at the wheels in daylight. I mean, they look great. And I mean, they're expensive wheels. They're super light, so I think they're lighter than the stock wheels are. All right, so we're coming up to speed bump here, and pretty much no matter how slow I take a bump, even when the car is raised, yeah, it rubs. So you can only imagine what it's like when you're on the highway and the car lowers itself. So it sits like pretty much on the tire. Any little kind of bump whatsoever, imperfection in the road, so we can't have that. So I basically drove it home from Chad's last week, and then it's just been sitting in the garage because it's been completely undrivable. So yeah, now that we hit about 60 miles an hour, I mean, I can't really demonstrate this on video, but the whole car is like vibrating, shaking, hopping, because it needs hub rings. And at some point during this drive, it's gonna say race on here because it's gonna lower itself. And then the car's gonna be completely slammed. And since you go in highway speeds, it just, any little bump, like I said, it's gonna be rubbing like crazy. We're gonna have to pull over, race the car back up, get back out. It's gonna do it again probably. So yeah, new spacers, tuck the wheels in a little more. And then what I'm also gonna do here soon is put the stock links back on. So the car's gonna be regular ride height, but hopefully I'll still be able to put it in dynamic. And dynamic is a mode on an Audi, if you don't know, that that's because the car's vibrating. You have to put the car in dynamic if you want to be able to use like launch control and so on. And when you put it in dynamic, it slams the car, like it lowers it. Currently, you know, I wouldn't be able to put it in dynamic now. It would sit on the tire. So we got to drive here pretty carefully and see how this goes. So I'm literally driving the speed limit, and I'm being passed by semis and stuff because I can't go over 60. The whole car just, look at that. Normal people always speed a little bit, even Ford Escapes. We got a Honda CR-V passing me here, and I'm still speeding by 2 miles an hour. Look at that. Everyone speeds, except for me and these box trucks. Look at that. Man, dude, bro, you're speeding, bro. It still hasn't lowered itself yet, which is a good thing. The last time it did, twice driving home. But hopefully it doesn't do it at all driving here. We just got to drive the speed limit. It'll take hours. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Dude, am I being passed by a Prius? A Prius? Oh, man. My manhood is lost. It's lost. I'm being passed by Priuses. Man, f this. So I haven't hit 60, I don't think, once. Which is why I think the car hasn't lowered itself. Well, now I'm hitting 60. 62. It's still staying. So that's a good thing. We're about to take this exit here, and then I will lower the car manually and demonstrate how bad it is when it sits at like normal ride height. I mean, you can't even take a turn. It just, yeah, it's bad. Looks awesome, but it's bad. Yeah, see, right away. As soon as you hit any kind of little bump, it scrapes. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to take this turn properly without it, like, yeah. I'm only going 34 miles an hour. Yeah, listen to that. So you can imagine what happens when you're going highway speeds like 70. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh my God, I can't even hit the brakes. Damn, dude. So this is why I'm back here. I'm happy I have these wheels though, because they look sick, and huge thanks to Chad for just hooking me up, man. He had some wheels laying around. They look badass, and they were like the same price, or even cheaper actually, than only 2 new front tires for the stock wheels. So I'm very grateful for the relationships I have. I mean, I can't use the brakes and turn at the same time. But yeah, we're gonna fix this now, hopefully. Check out how badass this looks. Dude, it looks so sick, but it's undrivable. I love the wheels though, man. They look good. All right, so here are the new hub rings. And here are the spacers that we're going to be using. They're 12 millimeter instead of 18 in the back and 15 up front. Hopefully that'll make a difference. It'll tuck the wheels and tires in a little bit, and it shouldn't scrape as much. But like I said, we are getting the stock links back on as well, I think next week. Take it for a ride and see if it's...
That's what I'm gonna do.
Rubs. I predict it's still gonna rub a little bit. And it hasn't settled yet either. It's gonna go a lot lower. The only car I've ever owned that sounds better on a warm startup than a cold. See, when it's cold, it doesn't do that. It just starts and it's ball. It's like droney loud sound. But when it's warm, it pops and crackles when it starts up. It's weird. Yeah, it's still sitting really nice. And it looks so good, but I'm assuming it was rubbing still. So what's the verdict?
It's nothing in the back, and it's rot. There's no vibrations, nothing.
Yeah.
It's just very subtle whenever...
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we are getting the stock links on. Yeah, that fitment is perfect. Because the thing is, if we're gonna do this, if I put it in dynamic, it's gonna drop even more.
Right.
And to be able to do launch control, you have to be able to put it in dynamic.
Right. Yeah, no, the fitment's there. It's just those lowering links.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then when we put the stock links back on, I can put it in dynamic and have it lowered the whole time without it hopefully rubbing. Cheaper with 4 new wheels than 2 sets of tires. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I thought, the car still rubs up front. So until we get the stock links back on, which will happen about next week. Chad and them, they don't do that type of work, but I have an appointment with Auto Illusions. Hopefully we should be good. And it's only up front, it's not in the rear. But at least with the hub rings, the balancing is perfect. There's no vibrations or anything like that. I'm just like so pissed because I love the fitment. Like the car looks perfect with these wheels. It's just that they're 22s now and they're not 21s like the stock wheels were. So it gets a little too tight, which is a bummer, man. The 21s with the lowering links, and you have it like in dynamic, would rub a little bit as well if you took a turn heavy. But like normal driving, it was fine. Like on the highway, it didn't rub when you hit like a little bump or anything like that. So yeah, damn it. We'll see how the ride home is if the car lowers itself again, because we're definitely not going to be driving 55. Yeah, see, we're going 72 and now it says race, so the car has lowered itself, I guess when you hit 70 or something. So it's probably going to start rubbing here soon, I would assume. Yeah, see, any kind of little hump in the road and it rubs. All right, so we're back home, and here's my driver's setting. So you got 4 different drive modes: comfort, auto, dynamic, and individual. So individual for me is basically dynamic, except for the air suspension is in comfort, because that races it a little bit. Now, if I put this in dynamic, so it's basically fully dynamic, see, it lowers it even more, and it's like pretty much sitting on the tire. And this is just the tire shine, by the way. So what I'm thinking is, once we get the stock links back on, it's obviously going to race the car, but then when I put it in dynamic, I wonder where it's going to be sitting by then. So that's what I want to know. We're not going to be figuring that out in today's video, unfortunately, because I don't have the appointment until, I don't know, I think it was the 15th or something like that. And also, we have to have spacers, by the way, because otherwise these wheels would hit the brake caliper. So we have to have some kind of spacers. Another option is that I go for 30 profile tires. I mean, the thing is, when you're about this life and you like the way, you know, your car sits and have perfect fitment and stuff, you're gonna have these issues. That's just the way it is. I'm not gonna drive around in a stock car. It's boring, which is why I'm messing around with this. I'm sure that's aggravating a lot of people, but it is what it is. All right, well, now after having driven it for a little while and, you know, having to lower it and race it all the time, what I've noticed is when you hit, if you have it raised, which I have now, if you hit 65, it'll lower automatically, and there's pretty much nothing you can do about it. You have to get under 50 miles an hour to be able to raise it while you're driving, unless you like just completely stop on the side of the road, which I thought you had to do at first. And then the last resort would be to go to 25 profile tires, because it's 30 currently. I think I said 35 earlier, but I just love the way that it looks, but if it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to put the stock wheels back on. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you're an R7 owner out there, have you experienced this type of issue yourself? I mean, I guess if you have 22s on there, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but the stock wheels are 21s, and they're kind of an odd size. It's 20 or 275, 30, 21. These are 285, 30, 22s. The offset of the wheel is different, which is why we have to have spacers, so it clears the caliper. With the stock wheels prior, I just put the spacers on it because I wanted to move them out a little better and have a better fitment. It was not like I had to do that. So yeah, enough babbling on my end here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. Give it a huge thumbs up. If you're stopping by for the first time and you haven't already and you want to, please subscribe. And I'll see you guys very, very soon.